A St. Louis Park man is charged for allegedly creating dozens of fake IDs, including an international driver's license. And several federal agencies, including the FBI, say they are interested in this man. Police say Aaron O'Brien claims to be Irish and has a British passport. When they searched his apartment, investigators found equipment for making false IDs and numerous how-to books.
He had several books on how to make IDs, how to create a new identity, how to assume someone's identity.
Several of the September 11th hijackers carried false ID. Investigators say they're looking into whether O'Brien has any terrorist connections. A Metro school district says the forgery case in St. Louis Park is drawing the FBI's attention. It's a case that wouldn't have received anywhere near this much attention before September 11th. Here's Gail Plawacki.
Before September 11th, this would probably have been just another con man.
He had tons of IDs under various names out of Florida, Texas, California, Washington, under various names that he actually made.
But that was then. I know everything doesn't have something to do with terrorism, but did it cross your mind?
It has, and that's something that's being looked into.
And this is now. He calls himself Aaron O'Brien and says he's Irish. He has British identification, but no one knows for sure who he is or where he really comes from.
He had several books on how to make IDs, how to create a new identity, how to assume someone's identity.
We know some of the September 11th hijackers created false identities and kept P.O. boxes. Aaron O'Brien had one here at the St. Louis Park store. Right now, he stands charged with aggravated forgery for trying to get a birth certificate in a false name. But we may not have heard the last of Aaron O'Brien. Who all's looking at this guy at this point?
We have the FBI, the INS, postal inspectors, and some other federal agencies.
Gail Plawacki, Eyewitness News.
Aaron O'Brien is currently being held in the Hennepin County Jail. Criminal charges also are pending against him in Wisconsin.
The FAA will begin doing background.
And local authorities have a real nowhere man on their hands, a St. Louis Park man who may have had a past. Several of them, in fact. Tom Lydon has the story.
His name is Aaron O'Brien. Maybe, because he apparently goes by several other names in a half dozen other states. St. Louis Park police arrested him at this mailboxes, etc., where he had a P.O. box. Investigators believe he used it to amass a slew of bogus identities. According to authorities, he has Social Security cards in the names of Jonathan Linares, Jesus Melendez, Aaron Schumacher, and most recently, Aaron O'Brien, and driver's licenses from Minnesota, Wisconsin, California, Florida, Illinois, Texas, and Washington. More incredible still, he may not even be a U.S. citizen. He has an apparently legitimate passport from Great Britain. His neighbors say he talks with an English accent, but then detectives don't know if that's fake, too. Last week, police raided Aaron O'Brien's apartment here in St. Louis Park, and they found what basically amounted to a forgery factory. They found something else that, given current events, made them very suspicious. At the end of a long list of items police took from his apartment, an ominous notation: New York World Trade Center Pictures. The FBI confirms it has an agent working on O'Brien's case, but won't elaborate. Police were tipped off to O'Brien when he tried to obtain what's known as a delayed birth certificate by mail from Wisconsin. In Minnesota, as recently as a year ago, for $20, anyone could get a certified copy of anyone else's birth certificate. An identity thief could use that to get a legitimate driver's license in another state. From all accounts, Aaron O'Brien, or whoever he is, made it look easy. And that's because in some cases, it may just be. O'Brien is in jail, charged with forgery. He's been in this country for at least 7 years, but investigators say he had no obvious source of income. The real question is, what was he doing with all those identities? And tonight, no one is quite sure. Tom Lydon, 9 News.
All right, Tom. Minneapolis police are investigating